does. They run their life by the numbers.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say to you is that the really, really strong CFOs
Mm-hmm.
understand the numbers, but they put them in the context of how it impacts people.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a lot of recent surveys where CEOs and board members are asking, what's the number one thing that we really need
Mm-hmm.
in a CFO? The number one thing they need is a trusted advisor.
Yeah.
The number two thing they need is a strong collaborator.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting that if you really look at a lot of CFOs, I think people think the traditional route for a CFO to come up
Mm-hmm.
is from the accounting side.
Right, right.
A lot of good CFOs actually don't come from the accounting side.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that kind of surprises me. Or if maybe you majored in finance or something in college.
Yeah. You have to have some numbers and some familiarity with numbers, but you also have to understand the business strategy and what the numbers mean and how to advise people. And that's sort of why I call myself an accidental CFO. I never really wanted to be a CFO. But when the opportunity came to help people think about how do you best structure a business? What are the options that are out there? How do you make those decisions based on sound modeling and planning?
Mm-hmm.
That's really kind of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes a big difference to the outcomes in the businesses.
So, for example, what would that look like if you're going to structure a business?
So I'm working with a company right now where we're trying to figure out how to price products.
Mm-hmm.
And these particular outcomes are multi-year products. So you can't like look for 6 months.
Right.
So you have to look 5 years or 10 years out.
Mm-hmm.
So we've built a very simple model that says, if you think about these things, if I price them this way, here's where I am in 5 years or 10 years. If I price it this way, here's where I am in 5 years or 10 years. And if I price it this way, here is where I am. And we begin to look at product mix. Are we better off to expand our products and have 5 or 6 or 10 products? Or are we better off to narrow, which by itself is riskier because what if one of them doesn't become or goes out of favor? But it's actually sitting with the leadership and saying, okay, this is what your company will look like in terms of capital need and profitability. Now, here's where people push back. You can't know the answers to those questions. You're right.
Yeah.
But you can make really strong educated guesses and look at trends and say, here's what the likely trends are going to be. And so make your decisions with an understanding of what's going to happen. It's not my decision, but it is my opportunity to have great input to those people to say, as you make this decision, if you make it with a sound understanding of the financial implications, your business is more likely to succeed.
There you go. Which is some great information, especially, and even if you're basing it on trends, at least you have some information to base it on rather than just pulling something out of the air.
Out of the air.
Absolutely.